Okay. I am calling to order the continuation of the public hearing of the Norton Charter Commission from August 17th. We have 6 members present. Janie Goodwin, David Wren, David Keeney, Sandy Ollerhead, Denise Luciano. I'm Laura Parker. We thank you very much for coming. If I could just ask, probably not going to hear it, but if you've got a phone, just please shut it off for now. Again, wanted to thank everybody for coming. I just wanted to give everybody a background. The Charter Commission operates under Chapter 43B that governs the formation and the responsibilities and the timeline of the Commission. In April of 2019, the town voted to elect a Charter Commission to evaluate the processes and form of government and see if there were any efficiencies or changes that we could recommend and make. That started about a 2-year process. It's important to note that this is the only process available in the state that can change the form of government of any particular town. Charter review commissions can operate and make any other changes within the charter, additions or deletions. The Charter Commission elected is the only one that can change the form of government. It's also important to note we have had 32 meetings over the past 16 months. For the first 6 months, we spent our time reviewing our current charter, reading other towns' charters, and both with our form of government and other types of government. We met with the public, we met with elected and appointed officials, we met with all of the town employee department heads, we conducted surveys of all of the residents and had 180 responses. We spent the next 6 months after that discussing what we read, what we heard, deliberating on certain decisions, and making recommendations for what we feel was the best way of moving forward. Our goal is to make sure that our recommendations reflect the current needs of the town and to make sure that the town is working as efficiently as possible. We finished our preliminary report and draft charter in July, and I'm happy to announce that it was submitted to the Attorney General's office on Thursday of this past week. The Attorney General now has, it also goes to the Department of Housing and Community Development. The Attorney General, though, will be the one who reviews it and will compare it against current constitutional and Mass General law to make sure that there are no conflicts. They will report back to us their opinion. It's important to note that that opinion is not an approval and it is not an agreement. It is simply telling us that it has not found a conflict with law in Massachusetts. And it's also important to note that this is just the preliminary charter presented and it is subject to change. Like I said, it needs to be reviewed by all of those parties. The Attorney General has 4 weeks to come back to us with their report. At that time, at that point we will have had 2 public hearings, this being the second one, and we will have heard back from them. We will then all meet again to listen to what was said in the report and then to listen to what was said here in the hearings, and there may be some information that we may want to discuss again, reconsider, or give our make a recommended change. Let's see. The final report and charter will be filed October 23rd based on current dates that we're using right now. And at that point, our focus will switch from education to education and outreach and until it goes on the ballot, and it goes on the ballot in April of 2021. It will be a simple yes or no question. Shall this town approve the charter recommended by the Charter Commission as summarized? And you'll see a similar report and final charter then as well. So the goals of this particular meeting is just to hear your thoughts, get your feedback. We are listening. This is a listening session for us. We want to know your thoughts on what our recommendations are so far, and we not only want to know what they are, we want to know why you feel that way. We're not here to tell you what sell you on our recommendations just yet. That will come later once we've submitted the final draft. As I said earlier, what you have before you is just a preliminary version. We don't want to get into the rationale of a decision and then go back and meet in a couple of weeks and realize that we've heard something that we may want to reconsider, and we've thereby given you false information here. So because of that, we're not going to get into the rationale of a lot of the decisions made. We want to provide you with, the correct information. What we've recommended now will clarify anything you want us to clarify. If there is a question with regards to the rationale of a particular decision that was made, I will direct you to the meeting in which those discussions took place so that you can go back and either watch the video on Norton Media Center or you can consult the minutes from that meeting. I do recommend actually watching the meeting as it will contain a lot more detail. There is one question I will answer now up front, and it's because it's been coming up quite a bit. Under Massachusetts general law, a Proposition 2.5 question, and that is an override, a debt exclusion, or an underride. Any of those questions always must be presented to the public for a vote on a ballot. The Charter nor the Charter Commission can make any changes to that. A Proposition 2.5 question will always go to vote by the public. And I hope that helps. Also, I hope you had a chance to read through the preliminary report, if not the whole charter. I'm going to go over the highlights now, and then we're going to open up the hearing and listen to your feedback. So the highlights of the Charter Commission recommendations. So these were, it's also important to note that we unanimously voted on these recommendations. The first large change is within Article 2, the legislative branch, and that is a recommendation to change the form of government from town meeting to town council. We are recommending that the Norton voters elect 7 at-large town councilors to serve as the legislative branch of the government. We feel it'll facilitate more efficient and timely responses to the town's needs. Town councilors will serve staggered terms for 3 years. Because of this change in government, it eliminates the position of town moderator. It also will eliminate the formal committee that was known as the Finance Committee, and that will be replaced with a standing committee of the town council that will be known as either a finance subcommittee or a ways and means subcommittee. We've structured it in such a way that the subcommittee will be made up of existing town council members, but it also allows the town council to decide to invite members of the public to sit on that committee. The way it is presently structured, town council members must hold the majority, and there can be no more than 3, so that standing subcommittee will hold no more than 5 members, with 3 from town council and 2 from the public. The town council responsibility will be for appointing the town manager and a town accountant, and also the annual auditor, who is not an employee but an outside consultant. They will confirm the town manager's hiring of just certain department heads and all appointments to multiple member bodies, all of the volunteer boards. We're recommending a retention of a strong town manager that will again be appointed by town council, and they will run the day-to-day operations of the town. The preliminary town charter consolidates the executive branch then from the select board and town manager that is present into just the town manager position. Town manager becomes, if you look at the pictorial within the highlights, the town manager then becomes the sole executive branch of the government. Town manager will appoint all department heads, as I said, with some confirmation of the town council for certain positions. Before the department heads that support volunteer boards, the town manager will consult with those boards. Town manager will also make all appointments to the volunteer board subject to confirmation by the town council, as I mentioned earlier. So that's our executive and our legislative branch and how those are going to change. The next thing that we recommended was to provide a framework for a Department of Public Works. It's important to note that that is just a framework. It's too onerous of a task and too complicated to require it within a charter, but we're making the recommendation that that be formed, and we are providing the framework for that to happen. It is not an instantaneous process. By estimates that have from people we've talked to, it can be a year or two process because it involves unions in various departments that kind of need to be put under a single department. Those contracts need to be renegotiated, and a director of public works also needs to be hired, and they need to be the one who coordinates that. One important thing to note is, so under the Department of Public Works, the Water and Sewer Department would fall. This would also eliminate the elected Water and Sewer Commission. Town council members would thereby become the Water and Sewer Commission, and they have rate-setting policies. Responsibility for the day-to-day operations of the Department of Public Works is going to be the Director of Public Works, and that Director of Public Works reports to the town manager. Within Article 6, we've laid out a budget process that emphasizes clearer communication and more collaboration amongst the town government and departments. The process will start much earlier in the fiscal year. It'll start with a joint meeting of town manager, town council, and the school committee. The budget proposal will include narrative descriptions of all of the important budget features to make sure all of the residents understand the goals and priorities and the financial position of the town. It's also important to note that before the budget can be passed, the town council is required to hold a public hearing, and they welcome and encourage members of the public to come and give their feedback on the budget before it is voted on. We're kind of segueing into that. Article 7, our recommended charter, establishes more procedures for new and direct participation for town members. The first thing that's included in there is a process for citizen participation, and that is you can request a particular hearing at town council on a particular issue that you feel you'd like to have addressed. The next is an initiative petition, and that is requesting the town council to actually take action, approve or reject or reverse a position. Sorry, not reverse. Reverse comes under referendum. Referendum is the next one, and that is to ask town council to reconsider a decision that has already been made, either reversing it entirely or making a change to it in some method. And then finally is the recall of elected officials, and that was always included within our current charter, and that will remain.
You just read, what number was that?
That is Article 7 within the charter.
Correct.
Yes.
But is there an A, B, or C? Because I'm not going to make that.
Hang on one second.
Just
Article 7.1 is citizen petition. Article 7.2 is public participation. Section 7.3 is initiative petition. And 7.4 is referendum. Recall, however, is found in, I believe it's Section 3, the elected, give me one second. Elections, recalls, and elected provisions. Provisions for elected officials. So recall falls under 3-6. You're very welcome. Okay, and then one change that we are making, so all of the appointed boards and committees and commissions are remaining appointed. We're not changing anything with regards to their number, term, or how they are number, term. That's it. And then we are making one change within elected boards. The Norton Housing Commission is currently an elected body. On the advice of town council, we are making a recommendation for that to move to an appointed position. I've actually talked to somebody on the Housing Commission. They were in favor of that change. I think it'll make it a little bit easier and hopefully might induce people to sit on that board. I think I mentioned everything else is staying exactly the same.
When the public gets involved, are we gonna follow it the same way you're following it, or can we speak up as you're reading the?
If you don't mind, I have one more section, and then I'm going to open it up and you can fire away.
I agree.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, I think we covered that. The last thing I just wanted to talk about is, because this is a somewhat radical change, we are going to provide for a smooth transition within the charter, and Article 9 refers to the transition and what happens during the transition period. It's also important to note that the Charter Commission found that it was probably in the town's best interest to provide a transition committee, and members of the Charter Commission and other department heads and possibly members of the public will also sit on that transition committee. It will serve until, I believe it was 30 days after town council members are elected, or until such time as town councilors feel them necessary, so they could extend that position out for a little longer. And with that, I'm going to take a drink of water, and I am going to open us up to comments, feedback. Tell us what you like about the charter. Tell us what you don't like about the charter. Tell us why you don't like what you don't like about the charter. But please tell us what you like about it as well. That would be very helpful for us. And I'm just going to open it up. Who's got some feedback for us? Well, this is going to go quickly.
I have a few comments.
Okay, please. That's why you're here. We'd love to hear them.
It's not broken. Town meeting versus your way of doing business. My recommendation would be to leave it even though you put 2 years into it. I don't like giving up a lot of my freedoms to a group of new people. I'm very concerned about a 2.5 override, how it's going to be treated. For example, at the last town meeting, COA, Senior Center, was voted on to be a separate standalone item. That's on the books. That's the law, according to last year's 17-18 meeting. There's a rumor in town that says there's a possibility that the COA and its millions of dollars will be a position, or the position. A second position on top of that would be the town hall, more millions of dollars. And the school committee is asking for a sports complex. So that pyramid becomes 3 in 1. Is that how it's going to be voted on?
Sir, we have no control over that whatsoever.
And it be written in here that laws that were passed at the town meeting must be adhered to.
Sir, this has only ramifications for things going forward. We cannot change state law. We cannot change state constitution.
Good.
Yep.
I just wanted it on the record.
You got it.
Thank
So,
you.
and again, with regards, if I could just re-clarify with regards to override.
This is not an argumentative voice.
Oh, no, absolutely. I don't.
It's just that I can't breathe.
I'm with you. I'm right there.
Okay.
I'm sucking in
I'm not
cloth
gonna
right
suck
now.
it in. I'm gonna keep it in.
So actually, if you don't mind, I'm just going to repeat the part about the override or debt exclusion with regards to Proposition 2.5. We cannot change a thing. State law doesn't allow it. Charter doesn't allow it. Even if we wanted to, cannot touch it. It will always be a vote by you, whether to accept.
That I picked up on.
Okay.
I didn't see that in here. So
Because it can't even be in the charter. Like, we can't touch it. So it will always stay under state law. Yep. It's always under state law. It will always be under state law.
Well, based on that one subject, I belong to Citizens for Limited Taxation. And as an example, as we move forward, possibly with the new charter, there's a law on the books that just came out 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry, July. that they want to change the transportation bill. And this is the state now.
Mhm.
And eliminate, it's an end run against 2.5 overrides. And I want to make sure that the town of Norton is protected so that they can come out and vote for or against a debt exclusion or an override. One has never passed since I've lived here for 49 years.
We have passed a debt exclusion.
Pardon me?
We have passed a debt exclusion.
That's correct, which I was for and helped with. It was sorely needed. But the end run that the state is making, because we're all hurting statewide, the unemployment, I'm going to keep it very short.
That's fine.
Key.
We're here for you, so we're here for as long as you want to tell us things. I may have regretted that statement.
17.6 unemployment, Norton has 16.2. So you're dealing with a population that's poor. And then there's a lot of rich people who have moved in and are making changes like this to so-called move forward, in my opinion.
Mhm.
I want to protect that position. Let the people speak
Mhm.
for or against. Moderator Don?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Well, that's one cabal we don't have to deal with. When you say strong town manager,
Yes.
in the past I've heard this kind of language.
Yes.
Does that mean he's gone? The present town manager?
No. So right now we have a strong
Because
town.
he's been picked on quite often.
So right now we have a strong town manager. We are
Thank you.
recommending we retain a strong town manager. We want a town manager who is responsible for making the decisions of the day-to-day operation of the town, and we feel that is the best way of moving forward.
That's nice to hear. There was some clear thinking on that.
Thank you.
I'll let somebody else speak.
That's fine. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Mark Briscoe.
Hi.
I just have some concern on the board. Now, is the commission going to take and re-vote the people that are on the commissions?
The Charter Commission ceases to exist once the election in April 2021 happens. We're gone. We have a very fixed term. So we got elected in April of 2009. Our commission ends the month after the election in April of 2021. We are done.
But my question is,
Mhm.
people that are on commissions, select board, whatever, they're gonna retain the position.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And the charter commission that's going to take and readdress people.
We have. So if you read through the transition article within the recommended charter, it talks about the transition period. It talks about what happens next. After April, everybody retains their seat and everybody retains their position. There will be an election for town council in June of 2021. That will happen outside of the realm of the Charter Commission. And because the Charter Commission won't exist at that point anymore. And then from that point, there will be a literal transition into that change of government and all of what that entails. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay, good. So with regards to boards and committees and things like that, other than the select board, so the select board would cease to exist at the election. Every other board and committee in a voluntary position, all of those still exist, all the department heads still exist, everybody still exists.
Except water and sewer.
Oh, except for water and sewer, sorry. And at that point, so there would be, a gradual transition into reforming the way the government works. You're very welcome.
So when you mentioned the water,
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
when you mentioned the water commission, Bob, I got the feeling that they're going after that fund that they've got by putting their people in. So this is a very important committee that's being, this is a change. That's the question.
I'll clarify that for you.
Can this be reversed in the future if we don't like what you've done?
So, yes. Anything.
Reverse back. Okay.
It is a process, just like everything else in town government is a process. Anything in this charter, with the exception of the form of government, can be changed at any time by vote. Now, if you wanted to re-elect a new charter commission to look at the form of government, you could also then change the form of government, but it would require the same 2-year process that we've just gone through. But any other change to the charter can be made at any time. I also, hang on, if you just give me a second, there was something I wanted to clarify. Oh, water and sewer. So, water and sewer would then become a division of the Department of Public Works. And with regards to the town council is only the rate setter for water and sewer. They will also hear appeals on water bills. So if somebody is appealing their water bill, it goes to the DPW director. If they want to appeal it again, town council would hear that appeal. So the day-to-day operations and the management of the funds is handled by the DPW director. The town council has no day-to-day dealings with the Department of Public Works, including water or sewer, or its funds, or its budget.
That's the year.
Okay. I hope that helped.
It does help quite a bit.
So maybe I'll add a little bit to that, maybe it'll help a little more. The structure of the water department, as far as the enterprise fund,
Yes.
that is not changing.
That's even better to hear.
So that piece of the organizational structure is not changing.
Okay.
So this is an operational or a reporting change.
Okay.
But
That's important, thank
the
you.
enterprise fund, so you were talking about moving funds
Yes,
around.
I didn't want to open it up for a grab by people who have been appointed, not run for that position. I think you're going to lose a lot of volunteers in the future. I'm a little upset with the housing authority, but that's okay. The town manager will approve that person, those persons, and a good, strong manager would take into account somebody's resume.
Okay. If you can explain a little bit why you feel the housing authority is better as an elected position, that would be helpful, and how you think that would improve
Correct.
participation.
In the past, Ralph Stefanelli's reputation has been approached at selectmen's meetings, and I still hold that grudge that things were said or tried to be said. It was an assassination of character by many of the new select board people. That pain is still there. One wrong move on any one of their parts, and I'd own their home. Is there an ethics commission in here, like a Cory check, that when you appoint someone, they're checked out?
The process will be, I'll explain the way the process is going to work going forward. Town manager will be responsible for all appointments to boards and committees. The town council has the authority to confirm, and they have to do that within 14 days. So, but the appointments are all done by the town manager.
So none of these people have to pass an ethics test?
To volunteer for a voluntary board, no. I think, if it had something to do with the school committee and you were getting involved with the children, or,
I can see.
yeah, I think Cory is typically
Well,
used.
can I confirm that actually it's the same process they have now, where like all of us have to do a ethics training and pass a test too.
Okay.
That will remain the same.
Because I've
That's all.
taken all those tests. and have the master's certification from the state and the governor.
Yeah, that would stay the same. The state, you said it would stay the same. So the
Right.
ethics part would be on the state level.
And that's why I'm annoyed that someone would bring up something outside the venue. That one's never gonna go away with me. And I hope it doesn't happen to anybody else. Or someone takes a pop shot at it. Like a kangaroo court.
All right. Any other information that you'd like us to hear with regards to the recommendations? Anything we can clarify for you? Peter, you're very quiet. Come on, you have something, right?
Yes,
Please.
yes, in the past, back then, and there were 3 attempts to pass the charter back in 1975, 1982, and 1989, and it all resulted in failure.
Oh my. So I hope we do better then, right?
Yep, that's right.
Excellent. Thank you.
There's a comment in the back there.
Yes, sir.
Blackboard's governed by so-called expert.
Okay.
Sir, would you mind stepping forward a little bit? Or just
If you don't mind, if you can come forward, we're having trouble hearing you.
What do you want?
Let's try that.
Right here, all right?
Sure. Let's give it a try.
In our match to govern by so-called expert, I have a few problems with this. I think probably, let's say this is the most important one in my mind. We're taking power from the people. Right now we have a somewhat worthless finance committee that we have had for quite a few years. But they don't get the final say. We have town meeting. If there's something we believe in, we can go. Many times you don't win, but at least you have your say. That's part of freedom. I believe, if I'm not corrected, that this home here does away with the finance committee. It makes a subcommittee of the 7, I believe, town councilors, the finance committee. So 3 or 4, I'm not sure how many. The financial subcommittee of the town council makes a decision on spending. Then they take it back to their political pals on the town committee, and a majority vote it. Where do the people have a say? We don't have a say until it comes to fighting an override. That's no way to run a government. That's running a government by crisis. We should have an independent, and we've never had an independent finance committee in this town about as long as I can remember. But at least in theory, we have one. They bring their recommendations to the town meeting, which is now at this point, it's the legislative body. And I think that the people that are affected by financial decisions or recommendations, more appropriately, should have the final say. And in this case, we've got 7 people that I probably don't know, that haven't grown up in town, don't know the tenor of what this town used to be, and they're going to make all our decisions. Just as an aside, there's no place in this town you can buy gas for your car from anyone you know, I should say, that maybe lives in town and runs the business. You can't buy milk from anyone you know. They're all corporate stores. And I don't think we should use that same model to run the town, such as what I call it as government by experts. We have a town manager, or we're going to have a town manager that's not required to live in town. He doesn't care as long as he gets he doesn't get $4,000 a week, but it costs this town almost $4,000 to have a strong, expert town manager. He's just working for his pension. He doesn't care about this town, other than keeping his job long enough to be vested. And the same's gonna apply to a public works director. We don't need a guy in khaki pants and work shoes to walk around and never pick up a shovel. This town, the highway department's been run by people that know how to build roads, not how to fill out forms. And another thing we don't need is a human resource officer. There's a list of people in here, and I don't believe it's part of the town charter, but it's part of your thought, and I say that collectively, it's part of your thought process.
If I could just
We need
interject-
more experts.
If I could interject there at one point. We are reporting back what we've heard from the department heads and the
Sure.
employees of
They're
town.
all empire builders.
Okay.
Here it is. Well,
I know this.
One of the other things after human resource, that's all it's called, patent, not just a person, okay? These things all go. We need government by the citizens. Unfortunately, I can't blame you people for all of that because there's no citizen participation. But that's because nobody has a long-term commitment to this town. So, that's about it.
We appreciate your feedback. Thank you, sir. We will take it under advisement. Anybody else have anything they would like us to hear? Any other clarifications that we could make? Anything you're not clear on that we could help with in the process? Yes, sir.
I'd just like to thank everybody, committee, who worked so hard to put this together. I don't agree with a lot of things in the charter. I think that the town needs a lot of change. I've been in town for quite a few years, not quite as long as John. But, we do need change. And you've already stipulated that we could change the charter like any other government procedure. So I look forward to the change. There's a lot of things in town that haven't been done over the years. The town is not a town with a lot of money. People in the town on budgets. And so it's going to be a real hard strain on them. But we need the infrastructure of the town, the things that need to be done. I think it's a good thing. So we'll have to see how things go.
We appreciate your appreciation. Thank you. That was very nice. Thank you. Yes. We very much appreciate that. Yes, Mr. Stefanelli.
Do you think there might be a committee to name the prison on Leonard Street?
I don't know, but you should offer that up as a suggestion. I'm sorry?
I'm waiting for the barbed wire to go up on the top.
I am cautiously optimistic that when it is complete, it will be pleasing to the eye.
I hope so.
Okay.
Because it looks just like a prison.
Concrete usually does, so I'm hoping they'll do something to improve that. Yes, sir.
That project down there is probably the least bad of two evils. I mean, we could have filled it with houses, then we'd have more voters for the school. But if you think that that project and any other like it that's going to fill the town with traffic, I've seen that out here because it's been very hard to hear with the cars going by. It's not going to make a difference till the attitudes of the people that are running the town change. Because no matter how much we give you, you'll spend it and you'll want more. And I say that collectively. Obviously, you don't get to spend money, but the people that are running the town, they get raises, they get assistance, they want new buildings. We got a $50 million thing coming up. And if you add it up, it isn't 50. But if it's anything like the sewer project, it'll be more than 50. It only adds up into the mid-30s. I mean, that's good. Let's do that. So the town manager can go to his association meetings and talk about their wonderful town hall. And the school guy can go, Mr. Beata, because he's not a real doctor, okay? Now, he can go and talk about their athletics complex. You know, Those, well, I'm not gonna get into the details on that. But spend, spend, spend doesn't make it a better town.
Thank you, sir.
One other thing.
You're on a roll.
Let me tell you, okay? You people don't care about the people that live in this town. You only care about the people you talk to, probably on social media. And if you had any consideration for people, you would have had a microphone and speaker system here. It was very hard to hear you. And I don't know why you need that mask on. You're under there. I think you're social distant, like distancing,
All right,
like a,
sir,
like a
I'm gonna
good little
stop you right now.
communist.
Please
So
stop.
don't tell me thank you because you wish I wasn't here.
Please stop, sir. Thank you. We're done. Does anybody else have any constructive criticism related to the recommendations of the Charter Commission? With that, the chair will take a motion to adjourn the public hearing of the Norton Charter Commission ending August 22nd.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Denise? In favor? Sandy? Dave? Dave?
Very much yes.
Janie? I am also in favor. We are now adjourned. Thank you all for your time.